Hello, I'm Jim Skelly, and I'm very happy to be here with you for the fourth of our mini lectures in the current semester. I have to tell you, to be really quite honest, I am absolutely astounded by how engaged all the students seem to be. We've been coordinating this course now for 4 years. This is the 8th time, the 8th incarnation of this course. And I have to tell you, the discussions are just rich as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely fabulous. Just what I had hoped you would all do. So thanks for those of you who are participating, and I would urge those of you who for some reason or other have not been able to participate, please get in there and start talking to others. It's really fantastic. Very thoughtful things that people are saying. Just overall, great stuff. So congratulations to all of you on that. Secondly, I noticed that most people, it seems, have sent their Learning Circle preferences to Chris Shunnis or to me. I generally just forward them on to Chris. But if you haven't done that, please do so as soon as you can, okay? It's important. We're trying to get those learning circles going this week. We'd like to give you a full 2 months to work together. So if the sooner you get them to Chris, the better. We have a lot of students from a lot of different places. We continue. The students from ISIS in Hungary will be joining us this week. We've just been getting initial messages from them. So I think we've got just about everybody. We have a couple of students now from the Universidad Veracruzana in Mexico. We're delighted to have you all with us, and we're also beginning to get students from the European Students Forum, also known as AGE. So we're delighted by the participation all around. A couple of other things I want to talk to you about. If you haven't yet contributed to the discussions of your stuff, now some of the students who've just joined us may not have added, please do engage with that, both aspects of the exercise. Inventory your stuff and see where it was made, and then do some reflections on one piece, probably of clothing, and give us some sense of what you think you can find out about how it was made and the conditions under which it was made. Now, in that regard, I've just split off one aspect of that discussion. Nora Radke, who's in Minneapolis, took a somewhat different tack on the second part of the exercise. And I have to say, I think it's very useful because Nora makes the point, and let me read you a little bit of this. She says that after chewing over the issue, Nicholas Kristof makes the point, for those of you who haven't read his article that I sent out last week, makes the point that we should support sweatshops rather than being critical of them because they raise the living standard of people and the choices that some people face in some of the places where your clothing, for example, are made. The choice is either a sweatshop or something worse. And so he says, we should be supportive of this. And Nora Radke, who I think is very engaged, has said, basically she agrees with Kristof. Now, she says, I eventually began to lean over to the side of supporting the creation of factories. In the end, I will always choose the side that helps the most people escape the horrors of their current situation. I'm highly aware and conscious of the social problems and exploitation that comes with factories, like sweatshops for many Americans. However, knowing the production of my shirt was providing a job to someone who would otherwise be living on top of a garbage dump or living as a sex worker makes me think that the sweatshop is the lesser of the two evils. That's a very compelling argument on Nora's part, and it's also a compelling argument on the part of Nicholas Kristof. Now, I've set up a separate forum in the course discussions I've moved Nora's discussion over there, and what I'd urge you to do is to please engage with that discussion, because it's a very, very important one. I would say a couple of things, and I've said some of this previously, but I want to reiterate it, because part of what I think both Kristof and Nora are arguing is from a decontextualized perspective. As you may remember from the previous week, I did say something about the person who criticized Kristof's perspective by saying probably he would have supported slavery as well. And some people have in fact made the case that slavery helped people, right? I would argue that this is always a form of decontextualized rationality. In other words, it accepts the existing structures and says, well, this is the best we can do. But in Kristof's work, especially, if you take a look at it, you will see that he doesn't challenge the fact that the way in which the current neoliberal capitalist economic system is set up, it means this: that capital can move and always chase the cheapest labor. It's what happened here in Ireland when Dell Computers decided to move to Poland. Why? Because they could get cheaper labor in Poland, about a quarter or one-third of what they were paying workers in Ireland. So 5,000 jobs suddenly someplace else. Now the question is, shouldn't there be, and shouldn't one argue for this, that there should be a living wage and the same kinds of working conditions everywhere? Do we need, ultimately, and this is probably the ultimate question, do we need to accept this, what some international relations theorists call the chaotic nation-state system that is our form of government on the planet today? If we accept that, it seems to me, then Kristof's argument, and Nora Radke's argument, is correct. Because, in point of fact, the best thing that people can do within the existing system is, do work in a sweatshop rather than as a sex worker, for example. But the question, therefore, is, should we look at the broader context and say, hang on here a minute. What we need is a transformation of the economic and probably the political system such that we're really able to address the deeper structural problems that make people face very difficult choices. A horrible sweatshop or a sex worker, for example. Right? So that's the real question that you have to look at, and I'd appreciate you responding to Nora's post, and let's make that a rich ongoing discussion, I think, for the rest of the semester. Very, very useful, it seems to me. One of the issues that neither Nora nor Kristof address as well is what the ecological consequences are of these kinds of sweatshops. So take a look at Nora's argument. I really appreciate her having done this, and then start responding, if you will, because it's a very important argument. And thanks again, Nora, for having raised it. Now, a couple of other things. One is that I hope you will take a look at the exercise I just posted at the top of the web page yesterday. Measure your ecological footprint, okay? Your ecological footprint, there's a link there, you can do it. And then I put up a course discussion forum where you can go ahead and post exactly how many planets it would take if, in fact, everyone lived the way you do, okay? My own was 2.41 planets. Drive a car too much, too many airline flights. Nora actually had 3.3, and Justas Patkauskas in Lithuania, 2.37. The most interesting, of course, is Jose Roberto Viveros in Mexico. And he says, Jose says, I don't want to be a show-off, but I would need only 0.82 planet Earths. He's a vegetarian, he likes to recycle, etc. So take the exercise and then post how many planets you think the exercise suggests you need. I think you'll find it very, very interesting, and it will help you to reflect on the larger problems that we face. This week I want to say, because you've all started this course at different times, one of the things I want to suggest to you is that I will be sending you out, those of you who are taking it for academic credit, I will be sending you out an essay for the midterm, and that midterm will mean that you have to have read and done the materials through theme number 7, okay? And I'll send that out around March 15th, so about a month from now. So by then, you should have covered the material through theme number 7, which is subtitled Earth, Our People. Okay? So take a look at that. I'm posting this particular mini lecture under theme number 6, Our Civilization. Okay? Under that theme, Our Civilization, there is a lecture with Jared Diamond that you'll find very, very interesting, I think. Diamond is giving an hour lecture at the University of California, Santa Barbara, as I recall. And it's a kind of synopsis of the book that we've asked you to read for the course. So you might find that very useful to take a look at. The other thing is there's a very good discussion with President Obama's science advisor, John Holdren, on global climate disruption. Finally, don't miss Gwynne Dyer's Climate Wars. It's a 1-hour piece on the radio. Canadian Broadcasting Corporation did this about, well, I guess it's nearly 2 years ago now. But some of it is just, well, it'll make you focus, shall we say. And you might look over on the side. Part of what we do is on the resource library on the side, on the left-hand side, there's also part 2 of Climate Wars and part 3. So if you have the time, I highly recommend that you take a listen to Gwynne Dyer's Climate Wars because I think it's very compelling. And finally, there's a required reading that's posted on the website called Is Humanity Suicidal? By E.O. Wilson. He decides we're not, but there is a lot of evidence to suggest that at least some members of our species really are. So take a read of that. It's not a very long piece, but again, it will stimulate your thinking about the broader issues that we're dealing with in this class. I'll talk to you again next Sunday night. I'm sorry this was posted a little bit late, but sometimes the technology does not conspire with one the way one would like. Take care, and I'll see you very, very soon.